Hey everybody, Captain Murphy here from Salty Sea Dogs Games. Today I'm going to very quickly go over an asset we've got on the asset store. It is a 32-pound Carronade. So this is a gun that was used in the late 1700s to 1800s, otherwise known as a smasher. It's a very large bore, short range gun. This 32-pound one would get you about roughly 500 meters, not very accurately, but it would get there. So this one is a very easy to use model with a few scripts, and I'm going to go over some of the scripts that we've included. The first one is an example on how to animate the gun, and it includes a couple of things like a smoke prefab and a cannonball prefab. So it actually shows how to fire a projectile out of this as well. So this is a quick way to get started on the project and using a cannon. The elevate script is a very simple one that just elevates the gun and adjust the screw jack on the back of it as well, so you could do your own lerping and just call this elevation. Now they both come with public methods that you can call from just about anything, and in fact I use them on this UI and the inputs, so I'm using these scripts to give the examples on how to use them. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show the actual scripts here. You can see we've got a basic animator controller, and we are using mecanim. So this is a very simple setup. There's only a couple of functions, reset and fire. You can call however you want if you want to add it to your own game, but this is just simple mecanim. So let's go ahead and actually show this in action, and I'm going to show these UI tied in. I've included a physical cannonball which has 3 LOD. If you look at it, it's got 4K textures, so you can get really close on this. You're not going to miss any detail on this at all. And we've also included 2 brass monkeys. One of them is actually using a brass texture, and then one is wood. And you can adjust which one you want. It comes with both of these, and again, 4K textures, full PBR stack, and you're not going to miss any detail on that. The gun is all hand painted, and it's painted as though it's been used a little bit. So you can see that the carriage has some wear on there where the pedestal would slide back and forth. You can see there's some wear where the screw jack is in place. There's a little bit of wear on that carriage and the pedestal where they interact and they move around. The design on this system is made so that the gun pivots on this front point. So if you adjust the gun's Y, it pivots where it would in the real life, and so the wheels should make a nice smooth arc on that rear segment. And if you look at the wheels down here, you can see how they've got that curve to them, so they should curve in an arc when they're sliding around. So I'm going to go ahead and just show this in action. So again, this is all animation, so the elevation here is changing the actual transform, and again this just calls the public method and just passes in that int. It goes from 0 to 1. The prefab is already designed so that you just call from 0 to 1, and it knows that this is the max elevation, that's the min elevation, so you don't have to know anything in between. If you want to fire the gun, I added 2 of these calls. One passes in to go slow-mo, which makes the time slow down when the gun fires, and then it goes back to regular speed once the ball is destroyed. And then the second one is just regular speed, shows everything in full speed. Now these also call a script up here which shows you the last range and the highest point that the gun or that the ball got to during its flight path. So like I said, this gun would have normally reached around 500 meters, and as such it actually does go about 500 meters. You can see right here it went to 499 before it went below 0, so that's almost exactly on. You can actually show that this is very close to the real ones, because if you go to the maximum screw jack elevation, they actually lose range. So we're going to go ahead and reset back up to the front of the carriage. When we fire again, this time we should actually get to 500 if you just come off a tiny bit off of that arc, and bingo, right there. So we got a little bit lower arc, but we got a higher range, and I believe it does max at 500. It's pretty close to perfect. You can adjust it pretty much anywhere in between, and it's very fun to do. I actually had a couple little targets out here bouncing around off, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you have any questions or comments, stop by saltyseadogs.net or grab us on the asset store. Hope you have a great day.